Hi everyone, Steve here. Welcome to this edition of Monday Morning Musings. We're going to begin our little excursion into Matthew 18, and I want to begin with a true story in the sense of how out of control this using Matthew 18 and other passages as a speech control mechanism, as a way for church leaders to keep control over people. What I'm about to tell you is a true story. Several years ago, I received a phone call from someone I'd never met before, had no history with, didn't know any of the people they were talking about. And she was very sincere with this question. And she's very distraught about it. And she found me online somehow, and she called me and she said, I've just discovered that our pastor has hidden microphones all through the church, in plants and fake plants and shrubs, and the entire building is bugged because the leadership wants to record all conversations that go on in the building, because in case there's any gossip, they want to confront it. And she said that she didn't think this was a good idea, and she went to the leadership about it. And the leadership said, well, if you're not gossiping, why would you care? Classic cult control deflection, gaslighting, making the person bringing the problem rather than you accepting the problem. And the sad part of that story is that woman didn't have enough confidence to know that she needs to get out of there. How inappropriate that is. And of course, they used Matthew 18 as one of their justifications. Well, if we ever have to use Matthew 18, we'll have an audio record of everything that was said, and you didn't, and the people who didn't follow Matthew 18 will be able to bring discipline to them. Just as off and as cultic as you can get. And she was actually in doubt as to whether she should leave that fellowship or not. And I said, you need to get out of there now. Do you know what? She didn't leave. And you know why she didn't leave that fellowship? She said this: because if I leave, I will lose all my friends. Never underestimate the pressure on some people because of their temperament and because of their need for sociality, the kind of pressure it puts on them to put up with aberrant, abhorrent, dysfunctional, damaging behavior, because the pain or the thought of the potential of losing sociality outweighs the pain and the harm that these harmful practices are causing people. And that is one of the big ones that keeps people keeps people funding these dysfunctional places. True story. Microphones hidden throughout the building. Wouldn't leave. It'll cost me my friends. Yes, there is a social dynamic, a social fabric, a sociality of being a follower of Jesus and a member of a community. But when that community is harmful, destructive, dysfunctional, Stockholm syndrome-like, and that example what I've given you is extreme, but it's not that rare, and there are all kinds of variants. And of course, the variant is, if you don't yield to their discipline, you with Matthew 18, you're going to be put out, and people can't talk to you, and you can't talk to them, and all these various cultic mind and speech control behaviors. For those of you who have experienced these things and types of things, you need to understand what you've experienced is bona fide human trauma. And if you haven't found healing by yourself, by the grace of God, you need to get help from a professional, because The stuff that is like that, yes, I know I gave you an extreme example, but all the variants, all the gradients and differentiated versions of that story are all equally humanly damaging. They're pathological. So it's not just a different opinion about the Bible. It is a pathological mistreatment of human beings. It's a degrading of human beings. We'll talk about that in the next episode. So that's why we're going to talk about this. And I am certain that there are going to be people who are listening to this who've had Matthew 18 leveraged against them to silence independent thought and thinking freely or openly discussing things. Has Matthew 18 been used against them? And I hope the rest of this series will help you. I'll see you the next time.